I'm Ryan from 2G1, and today I'm going to throw a theory at you that is not really a theory. It has to be fact, and if you are a Bill and Ted fan, it is completely going to blow your mind. Now, I'm going to back up this theory with a bunch of facts from the film and let you decide on your own whether it is right or wrong. Now, I recently rewatched both films for it has to be about the 6,000th time, and here is my theory. Bill and Ted actually missed their oral report. Let me explain. The plot of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure has the duo going through history to collect what they dub historical figures, which includes Billy the Kid, Socrates, that guy who tortured Riggs back in Lethal Weapon, and Abraham Lincoln. When they get to the present, they basically ditch these historical figures at the local mall and go back to retrieve the first historical figure that was collected by accident. That historical figure was Napoleon, who was dragged from Austria 1805 to San Dimas 1988 through the circuits of time accidentally. Now, Bill and Ted decide not to bring Napoleon along on their adventure. They leave Napoleon in the custody of Ted's brother, Deacon Logan. And for most of the film, Napoleon hangs with Deacon, Carrie, and Daphne. Or is it Daphne and Carrie? I can never tell these two apart. The duo retrieve Napoleon from a local water park, and then they find out that the rest of the historical figures were jailed. And the two use some time travel trickery to be able to retrieve these figures from jail.
Can we get your dad's keys?
We could steal them, but he lost them 2 days ago.
After the report, we'll time travel back to 2 days ago, steal your dad's keys, and leave them here. See?
Whoa, yeah!
Remember to get the tape recorder.
Yeah?
Set a timer on it.
What am I gonna say on it?
Dad!
Ted?
I'm over here!
Way to go, dude. You stalled him.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Trash can. Remember a trash can.
Yeah, get this thing off me, kid!
Once they retrieve the historical figures from jail, Bill's stepmother Missy drives Bill, Ted, and all the historical figures to the high school, where the oral reports are taking place in the auditorium. The oral report is supposed to be about what a historical figure would think of modern San Dimas. They arrive, and everyone is ushered quickly inside. In the auditorium, the final presentations of the day by Buffy, Ox,
It's computers. San Dimas High School football room!
and Jody have already given their reports, and Bill and Ted were the last reports of the day. And Bill and Ted's history teacher, Mr. Ryan, has already issued both of them, who for some odd reason are allowed to do their report together when no one else is, an F. Now this always bothered me ever since I was a kid. Suddenly the lights go on, and the podium and the flags disappear. The curtains are drawn, and all the historical figures are there along with Bill and Ted. The duo then walk through their oral report with the greatest of ease, as each historical figure gives a synopsis of what they thought during their brief time in San Dimas. Here's Bill jousting with Joan of Arc. Here's the terrorist from Die Hard showing off his moves with some knife stick thingy, which I'm sure has a name, but I'm just going to move on. And here's Napoleon with a map and a bunch of army figures talking about using water slides as an attack device upon his return to France.
Triomphe Napoleon!
Here is the huge problem. The guys have all their props for the historical figures. They've talked to their historical figures because they are able to tell their fellow classmates about their time in San Dimas. This also includes Napoleon, who they literally spent zero time with. They missed all of what happened to the historical figures at the mall because they went to go get Napoleon. The time-traveling phone booth, it's on the stage as well. When the report is over, everyone gets in the time-traveling phone booth and leaves. But here's the thing. Mr. Ryan already gave the duo an F. The boys were already late. When they give the report, they have all of the props, they have the phone booth, and they know everything that happened to the historical figures. Both everyone they time-traveled with and Napoleon, who was in present-day San Dimas with Deacon for almost the entire time. So what happened? The boys actually missed their history report. And here's what's happened. After missing the report, Bill, Ted, and the historical figures go back to Bill's house, where the phone booth currently is. They gather the items that they need for the report, talk to their historical figures about their time at San Dimas at the mall, the bowling alley, or the water park, and then they use the booth to travel back in time and right onto the stage of the high school, nearly right on time, though they seem to have been a bit off since Mr. Ryan gave them an F for the report, and I'll explain why that happened in just a little bit. Now, they give their oral report with the greatest of ease, and then take off back in the booth to return their historical figures back to where they came from. Now, Bill and Ted superfans are going to point out that they had to be on time for their report. They had to be. And this is because their time-traveling mentor, Rufus, told them this in the beginning of the film.
Gentlemen, you can do anything you want, as long as you remember this. No matter what happens, you must get to that report. Most important, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, the clock in San Dimas is always running.
Rufus once again mentions this later when the duo return back to the Circle K.
And you better hurry, because you don't have much time.
What do you mean, Rufus? We got 10 hours left.
You got 2 hours.
But as I already showed you, Bill and Ted have time travel completely figured out. During the jailbreak, they realize they can accomplish their needs by sometime in the future gathering the items they need, like keys, or a tape recorder, or a trash can, then go back to the present, which is the past, and use them. It doesn't matter that
The clock in San Dimas is always running.
So Bill and Ted missed their report. They listened to what happened to their historical figures in the present, collected the props, got in the booth, and traveled back to their report. And guess what? The best sequel ever made, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, actually completely solidifies and reinforces this theory. Once again, let me explain. In Bogus Journey, Rufus is a teacher who brings historical figures to his classroom via the time-traveling phone booth. Now, his former gym teacher, Denomalos, that's screenwriter Ed Solomon's name backwards. Mind blown, right? Breaks into the classroom to steal the booth and send evil Bill and Ted robots back to kill Bill and Ted. So the guys go through their bogus journey by being killed by these bad robots, going to hell, challenging the Grim Reaper to regain their lives. They go to heaven. They find a Martian who builds good robots to defeat the evil robots at the finale of the film, which is the Battle of the Bands. Denomalos appears after his robots are destroyed and face off against Bill and Ted. At this point, Bill and Ted once again show off their time travel prowess.
Dude, how are we gonna get out of this? We don't got any time.
Yeah, we do, dude. Look, we use the booth. We time travel back to before the concert and set up the things we need to get them now. Like a sandbag.
Excellent! Then we'll get a cage.
You see, Bill and Ted already know that they won. And how do they know that? They know because on and off screen, they were able to make props appear with the booth. They get rid of Denomalos' gun. They lock him in a cage. And then Denomalos makes a key to the cage appear, as well as another gun. This gun is actually a prop. And Bill and Ted say this.
Only the winners are gonna be able to go back and set things up. Yeah. We set up the key, and we set up the gun.
This is all very important, and this scene is what solidifies this entire theory. Bill and Ted now have to participate in the Battle of the Bands, but guess what? They still sound like crap. They still don't know how to play, and on top of that, their set is being broadcast on televisions all over the world. So Bill and Ted, along with their fiancée princesses Diane and Joanna, get in the phone booth. Seconds later, they reappear and tell the audience and the viewers this tidbit.
That was a fast 16 months of intensive guitar training, dude.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Let's go back to the first film when Rufus says,
Most important, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, the clock in San Dimas is always running.
if the time in San Dimas is always right, the duo would have to reappear in the future months and months and months later, having disappeared off the face of the earth and missing the Battle of the Bands entirely. Instead, the foursome appear mere seconds after they left and participate in the Battle of the Bands. It doesn't matter that the time in San Dimas is always right. Why? Because after 16 months of guitar training, the foursome go right back to the Battle of the Bands and continue on with their lives. How did they know they could do this and get away with it? Because they already did it before when they missed their oral history report. So who cares if the time in San Dimas is always right, when you could time travel back and always correct your mistakes? Alright, let's blow your mind even further, and this is why Mr. Ryan gave them an F and why they were still late giving their report. The boys still had to arrive late to the report, come up with their game plan, then go back to Bill's house and get the booth. Because after the boys leave the school, they return back in the time machine, therefore just missing themselves in the past. Or, to even blow your mind even further, maybe the duo time traveled back and then told their present-day selves what to do. So the present-day selves depart the high school while the future Bill and Ted give the report, then use the booth to return the historical figures back into history. So in Bogus Journey, they already know what they can get away with because they already got away with it. And that, my friends, is why Bill and Ted actually missed their oral history report. Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and also check out 2G1's amazing show, The Best Comedy You've Never Seen. I'm Ryan from 2G1, and I'll catch you back when Bill and Ted face the music.
Big, just get a little bit, be little, it's hard to resist the physical thrill of jumping on top of you for the kill. Seduction when you're in distress, pretty pink peach princess located underground where hot lava is found till I flicker like a
The clock in San Dimas is always running.